Here we go. The best All Blacks 23, in my opinion, ever. Let me know if you agree, disagree. Let me know below in the comments. Also, if you enjoy this sort of content, if you enjoy these best 15s, because the next one we'll be doing is the Australian best 15, then we'll be doing an Argentinian one. And that's while we're doing the Six Nations coverage as well. So if you do want to support the channel, if you do like the content, hit that subscribe button. It's right below the video. All it is one click, but it means a lot. You'll be able to see future videos and it helps support the channel. That's the main thing. We're already up to 500 subscribers, which is insane. And if you want to be a part of it, then hit that subscribe button. Now let's get into this. Hopefully, with all my research and also from watching some old footage and everything, this is who I think is the best 23. Now let me just move my ugly mug out the way and get into the front row. So we start with Steve McDowell. He played 46 times for the All Blacks from 1985 to 1992. He scored 3 tries. The first province he played for was Bay of Plenty. He was born in Rotorua in New Zealand. He went to Western Heights High School. He won 1 World Cup in 1987, the inaugural championship, the inaugural World Cup in New Zealand. He was 6 foot, 102 kilos. And the main part here too is, keep an eye out for this when you are watching through this video today. The win percentage, an 89% win percentage, which is just crazy. I mean, you're winning 9 out of 10 games. That is insane. So bravo to him. And every single person, every pundit watching games back, he was solid. And, this was before all these rules are in the scrum, all that type of stuff. His scrummaging was best. And he was also not just a scrummager, but just this open field play everyone talks about. And he moved nearly like a flanker. Like, he was still pretty quick, pretty agile at 102 kilos. And that's the reason why he is in this team. He only just edges out another All Black legend who was on the bench, who you will see. Now we move to hooker. I think there's only one option here, right? It's Sean Fitzpatrick.
Ground and leaving it there for Bunce, hoping someone was there, and there was. This is belted up stuff from the All Blacks now. Joseph, they must score here, do they, through Fitzpatrick? Yes!
128 caps. And to play that many caps in the era that he did is insane, because they'd never played as many games as they do nowadays. The first All Black, I believe, as well, to reach the 100 cap mark, the century. So bravo, Sean Fitzpatrick. Also was part of that 1987 team who won the World Cup. He scored 20 tries for the All Blacks, was born in Auckland, played for Auckland, and he went to Sacred Heart College, also in Auckland. He won that 1 World Cup. He was 6 foot, 105 kilos, with an 85% win rate. And I think he still holds the record for the most consecutive games for an All Black. I think he had like 60-something tests without missing one. So durability and experience. Now we go to number 3, Ken Gray. This, a lot of people might not know about him. It's sad that he retired at an early age, but he did say the reasons why. 24 caps, 4 tries. Was born in Porirua in New Zealand. Played for Wellington. Went to Wellington College. No World Cups, as there was none back then. He played from 1963 to 1969. 6'3" and 99 kilos. So you could imagine with modern day, technology and training, he'd be like 115, 120 kilos, 6'3". And it's insane. I mean, a 92% win rate when he is playing. That in itself says a whole story, right? Now we move on to the second row. You've got Brodie Retallick, one of the most recent players, obviously just leaving the All Blacks last couple of years ago. 109 caps, 9 tries. Province he represents is Hawke's Bay. Born in Rangiora in New Zealand. Went to Christchurch Boys High School. And there's a few of these Christchurch Boys high school boys in this team. 1 World Cup in 2015. He's 6'8", 120 kilos, and 84% win rate. Now, with the number 5, he has to be in the locks. There's no way you can't put him in this team. And that's Colin Meads.
You didn't want anyone getting an unfair advantage over you.
His toughness was legendary. In one game, he broke his arm but played on, one arm dangling.
Played from 1957 through to 71. 55 caps for the All Blacks, 7 tries. Represented King Country. Born in Cambridge, New Zealand. Went to Te Kuiti High School. No World Cups back then. 6'4", 102 kilos. So it shows you the evolution of the lock position with Brodie Retallick at 6'8", compared to Colin Mead, 6'4", 102 kilos. So, bigger boys now, obviously being lifted and line out, height really matters. Where back then, obviously, it was just throw the ball in and you just knock it back, right? And an 86% win rate. Colin Meads, absolute freaking legend of the game. Well done to him. Now we move on to the back row. Another legend who I think changed the number 6 position, right? Ian Kirkpatrick. My dad being a Springbok supporter, he was born back in the 50s. So I look back at that time, and that's when the All Blacks were very dominant as well. And Ian Kirkpatrick changed the number 6 position to make it more of that, I guess, the number 6s we see in modern day, right? In New Zealand, especially with Jerome Kaino, Jerry Collins, sorry. These kind of the bruisers, the big number 6, the big defender. And that's what Kirkpatrick was. He was just a great ball runner, really good defender. 39 caps from 1967 to 77, 16 tries. Represented Poverty Bay, born in Gisborne, New Zealand. Went to King's College, 6'3", 102 kilos, and a 78% win rate. So well done to Ian. That was pretty much, he was the person who now, I guess, everyone copies in the 6th position. In at number 7, I think there's only one choice, for me anyway, Richie McCaw.
Finds Vickerman, down to Gregan, Larkham, Mortlock, straight through! Who's with him? Gerard! He's got the inside! Gerard taken, brilliant cover over there by the All Blacks, and Richie McCaw has gone in there, and I think he's stolen it.
Oh no, what a performance by McCaw.
148 caps. I mean, I think he goes down as maybe the 2nd best player in history for me. Anyway, 148 caps from 2001 to 2015, 27 tries, represented Canterbury, was born in Oamaru in New Zealand, went to Otago Boys High School, won 2 World Cups in 2011 and 2015, retiring on the top of the world, and also 3 World Player Awards of the Year, like Best Player in the World in 2006, 2009, and 2010. He deserved it. He was one of those, I guess, growing up, obviously I was a Springbok supporter, but you always watch the Springboks versus All Blacks, all those games, even though early in the mornings. And the one player, they always talk about is Richie McCaw, because he was just that good of a player. Even though they were targeting him, knew he was rough, he was really good around the rocks, he still did it. He still get through it, and that's what makes him so good. 6'2", 107 kilos, and an 88% win rate. And in modern times, 88% win rate is just crazy. Now we move on to number 8. I went with Zinzan Brook for sure. Yet again, another player who changed the position. He wasn't the biggest number 8. He moved like a back. He could drop kick the ball over. What more could you ask for? Seriously. 100 caps to the All Blacks. 80 from 1987 to 97. 42 tries. 3 drop goals. Represented Auckland. Was born in Waiuku in New Zealand. Went to Mahurangi College, won World Cup in 1987, 6'3", 102 kilos, and an 87% win rate. Well done, Zinzan. I mean, growing up in New Zealand, I had an old Xbox, the first original one, and one of the first games I had on there was Zinzan Brook Rugby, right? You might not know about it maybe in the rest of the world. I didn't in South Africa, but yeah, he had a game. I bought it and played it as well. I mean, 42 tries as a number 8 back then is just crazy. We move on to number 9. Aaron Smith for me.
Mialamu lays it back on the 22. Now up the centre goes Messam. Offloads beautifully to Aaron Smith. Kane's got it! And he sets it for Smith. Away for Akira Ioane.
Still playing advantage
He's
to
got
Black.
the ball in hand a lot tonight. Smith goes on a little dab and off goes Smith. He's got Woods on one leg, Taylor the other, and Cody.
125 caps from 2012 to 2023. 29 tries. Represented Manawatu, the Turbos. Born in Palmerston North. Went to Fielding High School. Won World Cup in 2015. 5'7" and 82 kilos. Making him the smallest in the team. And an 80% win rate. It's kind of hard to just put one World Cup because he did so good in the rest of them. I mean, his passing is just always accurate. Quick ball. I mean, he is one of the reasons why the All Blacks was so good. And he will be sorely missed. Obviously playing now in Japan. Now we move to number 10. There's only one, right? And if you don't agree, then I think, we need to relook at the history books because this guy is the best number 10 in the world. Or was, should I rather say. Dan Carter.
Carter has done it. Is that a kick to win the World Cup?
Options right in the centre. Now Carter, he's clear. Dan Carter and Israel Dag.
Slippery ball.
Knocked down to McCaw, who loses it, but Aaron Smith now has it. Carter has a drop kick. Carter, it is over!
Blacks rushing to get ball back quickly. Now Carter away for Dag and a try for Adam Todd.
By Mazario. Rokotoko has it. Carter. Coming against the cut and finding space. He has men to his right. He sees them and Howlett will clear away.
Played 112 caps for the All Blacks from 2003 to 2015. I think he is the best 10 in history. And I also do think that he could be the best player in history, in my opinion. But obviously it's hard for me to know, of the players back in the 40s, 50s, 60s, etc. But that's just in my opinion. And that's not even coming from All Black supporter. 29 tries, 1,598 points, the highest point scorer in history. Represented Canterbury, was born in Leiston. Went to Christchurch Boys High School, another one to add to the list. 2 World Cups. Having unfortunately been injured in the 2011 Rugby World Cup, but obviously being part of the squad, he is with that World Cup. And then 2015, getting to finally be in the World Cup final. Also 3 IRB World Player of the Year awards, 2005, 2012, and 2015. I think the main part with that is just the gaps between awards. I think it just shows the testament of how good of a player he was. Having won the first award in 2005 and then winning in 2015, a 10-year kind of range of being one of the best, if not the best player in the world. It just kind of shows how good he really was and consistent. 5'10", 94 kilos. He wasn't a small 10, an 88% win rate. Man, what a freaking career. Bravo. And we go into the centres. Starting at number 12, you got Ma'a Nonu.
Sonny Bill Williams to Nonu now, and Nonu finds a way through, steps. Oh, Nonu might go and score here. Mitchell with a tackle. Nonu! The All Blacks are on their way.
Through on the ball. Ellis to Carter. Nonu busting. Manu. Where goes Nonu? Well looking to lead. Beautiful pass.
It's a tough one here. I mean, you could go Walter Little, Frank Bunce, something like that. But I think Ma'a Nonu, just his consistency, 103 caps from 2003 to 2015, 31 tries, represented Wellington, was born in Wellington, went to Rongotai College, 2 World Cups in 2011 and 2015, 6 foot, 108 kilos, and an 88% win rate. And the thing is, when I was growing up, you know, I left South Africa in 2004 when I was 11 years old. The Hurricanes was my Super Rugby team, apart from the Lions. But even when I lived in South Africa, I supported the Hurricanes and Wellington as well, in the kind of the New Zealand side of things. And when Ma'a Nonu was coming through, I remember, you know, you played him in all the rugby games and all the Rugby 08, Rugby 05, all that type of stuff. And he obviously learned his trade from Tana Umaga, who is a freaking legend as well. And the thing is, everyone was just thinking he's going to be a big bruising runner, which he was, but his passing ability, his passing was some of the best in the world. You know, he could pass probably even better than John de Villiers from both hands. And that's what really set him apart, is that passing ability, the whole running, and just a pure bruiser he was in his defense. Always good. Just really professional. Now we move on to number 13. Got to pick Conrad Smith here, especially that they played together. You know, they played together for so long. 94 caps for Conrad from 2004 to 2015. 26 tries. Represent Wellington, same as Ma'a Nonu, was born in Hauera in New Zealand, went to Francis Douglas Memorial, 2 World Cups, 2011, 2015, 6'1", 95 kilos, and an 89% win rate. And I think with Conrad as well, just the way he read games, his defense, just a pure technician of the game. And I wouldn't be surprised, you know, that's even if he wants to, but he could be one of the best coaches ever, to be honest. Now we move on to the outside backs. Obviously, you have to go Jonah Lomu.
He's handed off his opposite. Lomu. Zinzan Brookie can pass the ball as well. Look at this. Right out to Osman, to Lomu. Look out. Lomu in again. The first half, and then a little push out towards Lomu. And Lomu's chasing hard. And the bounce has gone a little. Kronfeld. Lomu. 3 for Lomu. Richards. Morris. Intercept by Basham. Lomu. Hands off Tony Underwood. Lomu. Heading for 4. That's the most brilliant.
63 caps from 1994 to 2002. 37 tries. Represented counties Manukau. Was born in Pukekohe in New Zealand, pretty much like South Auckland sort of thing. Went to Wesley College. He actually went to college with my coach, actually, at my local rugby team over here in the Gold Coast. Lost in the 1995 World Cup final. 6'5", 120 kilos, and a 73% win rate. Far out. Just, you would not want to tackle him. And that's the thing people say. You listen to these players in history talking about Jonah. It's not that he was, you know, just a big guy. He was ripped. Like, for back then, he was muscly, ripped, fast, big legs. Yeah. Wouldn't want to tackle him back in the day. Then we move on to the right wing. John Kerwin.
So Ambrosio kicks off. The Italians are beaten right out of the action now. New Zealand have scored 48 points and they might be looking for 50. John Kerwin. And what a way to bring up 50 points.
JK, as some people call him. Look, I don't always agree with his opinions when it comes to him talking rugby analysis, but he is a player who done it, and that's why you can respect what he says, because he was there, he did it at the highest of levels. 63 caps, 35 tries. It's the same amount of caps as Jonah, but 2 less tries. Represented Auckland, was born in Auckland, went to De La Salle College, won World Cup in 1987, 6'4" and 92 kilos, an 83% win rate. Could you imagine facing these wingers? 6'5", 6'4". Yeah. It wouldn't be a fun day in the office if you were a Cheslin Colby or something like that, right? Now we move on to fullback. There's only one. Christian Cullen for me.
Cullen!
It's all over. Christian Cullen. Clearly. It finds Cullen with a beautiful pass. Now they're lining up to score this one. Cullen might do it himself. Yes, he will. Superb. Little feeds it up to Cullen. Cullen. Brilliant run by Cullen. Still going. 22 metres. Mertens. Cullen gets up and Cullen's in.
60 caps from 1996 to 2002 and 52 tries. That's nearly a freaking try a game. That is just insane. Did a couple of goal kicks as well. Represented Horowhenua Kapiti. Born in Paraparaumu in New Zealand. Went to Kapiti College. 0 World Cups, unfortunately. And 5'11", 85 kilos, and 73% win rate. That's the thing. He was always a skinny kind of, guy at the back, but he would just tear you apart. I mean, if you want to watch just silky Rolls-Royce rugby, go and search his name up on highlights on YouTube and just sit back and relax, and you will freaking find it just absolutely amazing. Now we move on to the bench. We go to the backup hooker, who I think is Kevin Mialamu.
Taken on by Vito, gets the ball away wonderfully despite the tackle, and this is Mialamu on his home turf, the skipper.
132 caps from 2002 to 2015, 12 tries, represented Auckland, was born in Tokorua in New Zealand, represented Aotearoa College, 2 World Cups in 2011 and 2015, 5'11", 111 kilos, and 86% win rate. And when you watched him, since the start of his career to the end of his career, just professional, calm, he just did his job. Absolutely brilliant player. You know what you're going to get from him. Always consistent. Never had a bad game. And I think sometimes people forget how good he was, in all honesty. And we move on to the backup props. So on the left, I got Tony Woodcock.
Out option. Corey James moves across and behind Nonu.
Throw is good. Pops it up to Tony Woodcock. There's the first try of the final.
118 caps from 2002 to 2015. Same time as Kevin Mialamu. What a brilliant front row. 10 tries. And one of them, I believe, was in a World Cup final too, right? In 2011. Represent my province, my NPC team, North Harbour. Was born in Helensville, New Zealand, and went to Kaipara College. Actually played against him in high school. They were quite West Auckland, right? 2 World Cups, 6 foot, 120 kilos, and 86% win rate. Exactly the same as Kevin Mialamu. Bravo. Now we got on to another person who is an absolute legend. Pretty much came around at the end of these guys' kind of career, I'd say, or closer to the end of it. Owen Franks.
Big ball and all tackle from Franks.
108 caps from 2009 to 2019. Didn't score a try, as we all know. He's a scoreless man. Imagine playing over 100 caps and not scoring a try. That's crazy. I think it was held up a few times too, that I remember. Even at the end of career, people were mentioning it, and he just didn't get across the line, unfortunately. But that's the sort of player he was. He didn't care about his own accolades. He just cared about winning tournaments, and that's what he did. Represented Canterbury, was born in Motueka in New Zealand, went to Christchurch Boys High School. I think that's the third one now. 2 World Cups, same as before, 2011, 2015, back-to-back. 6'1", 122 kilos, and an 84% win rate. He deserves it. Always was a quiet warrior, never complained, just did his job. And that's what I think modern day rugby players kind of need to do, is stop worrying too much about the refs, stop worrying about what you can't change, and just play the game, right? More and more complaining now. Everyone's talking to the ref. It's starting to become a little bit like football, unfortunately. Now we move on to the backup second rower, Sam Whitelock.
Big moments. This is a big turnover. He wants to make an impression, Sam Whitelock as well. Stay in this team. It's great work from him, isn't it?
Whitelock goes up and wins it.
A little bit of attention. Here's the steal from Whitelock. That's just incredible.
153 caps from 2010 to 2023, 7 tries. represented Canterbury, was born in Palmerston North, went to Fielding High School as well, same as Aaron Smith. 2 World Cups. I mean, he captained the All Blacks for a long time as well. 6'8", 120 kilos and an 82% win rate. And that's what he looked like in his kind of younger years, right? Back in 2011. The big beard, that kind of bowl cut sort of thing. And later on, he's got the big grey beard at the end. And then we got the back rows. So flanker, Michael Jones.
Box, in pass, and the first try scored by an individual in the World Cup goes to Michael Jones, and don't they just love it on Eden Park?
Absolute freaking legend. 55 caps, 1987 to 1998. 13 tries, represented Auckland, was born in Auckland, went to Henderson High School, won World Cup in the inaugural one in 1987, 6'1", 98 kilos and an 82% win rate. Man, just the stories you see about him, even some highlights you can watch. He was so agile. He's like a center out there. He could have played centers. He could have played anywhere in the whole forward pack. He could play hooker if he wanted to. He was just that gifted. So he definitely jumps in, and especially as a utility, he can cover 8, 7, 6, lock, freaking front row, whatever you want him to do. We move on to the backup number 9, Sid going.
Trouble here, they're really pushing him back. Look at the weight come in from the All Blacks again. Hurtling out of that one was Kirkpatrick. Ball on the ground. Meads, 10 yards from the goal line. Going dummy, he's having a dive, he's over. A try to going.
29 caps from 1967 to 1977, 10 tries. Represented Northland, which was back then North Auckland, actually, back in the day. Was born in Kawakawa in New Zealand. Went to Northland College. No World Cups back then. 5'10", 81 kilos and an 80% win rate. Just looks like a freaking classic rugby player, right? The mo, the hair loss, man, absolute legend. And I think, obviously, if he played in the modern day, he's so snipey. He would have scored way more tries in the modern fast game and probably on better fields as well, because, as you can see back then, the fields were pretty average. Then we move on to the backup number 10, Beauden Barrett.
2 scores. Mitchell, given away. Ben Smith. Barrett is chasing. He's got Pocock for speed. This is Beauden Barrett, control this, and the cut is his.
As a utility on the bench, 134 caps from 2012 to 2024. I mean, he's still playing now, actually. 45 tries, 772 points. Represented Taranaki, was born in New Plymouth, went to Francis Douglas Memorial, that's the second one now. Won World Cup in 2015. Yet again, 2 grand final losses as well, unfortunately for him, but luckily for me as a Springbok supporter. He was also 2-time World Rugby Player of the Year in 2016 and 2017, doing it back-to-back, which is crazy. And sorry, the size is wrong. Obviously, one bloody typo. He's not 6'5" and 120 kilos. I think he's about 6'1", and he's probably about 88, 90 kilos, right about there. And we move, and that's the thing, Beauden Barrett can also cover anywhere in the backs, to be honest. He's a 10, he can play fullback. If you need him to, he can cover the wing or centre too, because he's that fast. Then you got, last one on the bench, Tana Umanga.
So this is the aftermath of this tremendous tackle. There's Tana Umanga showing real concern for Colin Jarvis, and he takes the mouthguard out as well. Now that is great to see. Is flat taken down by his brother. So here goes Tana, smashing in. 10 out from the 22. The
absolute legend. I think people yet again forget as well how good he was. He was just so consistent, professional. Unfortunately, he didn't get the accolades, you know, with the World Cups, stuff like that. But just a great servant to the game for the All Blacks. Represented Wellington. Was born in Lower Hutt. Went to Parkway College. No World Cups, unfortunately. 6'2", 100 kilos and 81% win rate with 36 tries and nearly one every 2 games. Now, who gets the coach for this team? It's a tough decision. There's a few you can choose, but for me, Graham Henry, I mean, you know, there's a couple other ones that jump to mind. with people like Steve Hansen. The reason why Steve Hansen I don't think is better than him is just purely that Graham Henry pretty much handed the keys over to him, gave him this team that just won the Rugby World Cup. He stepped down at the right time. I mean, he used to coach Wales back in the day, and he also passed that team on to Steve Hansen as well. So he's always kind of, Steve Hansen's been second in charge behind Graham Henry sort of thing. I mean, 103 tests, 88 wins, 15 losses, won the 2011 Rugby World Cup. He won the IRB, the International Rugby Board Coach of the Year in 2005, 2006, 2008, 2010, and 2011. And he also coached the British and Irish Lions back in 2001 as well, making him the first person from overseas to coach them. I mean, the next ones that pop to mind is Sir Fred Allen, who won 14 games from 14 matches. So he deserves a shout out. And the last one, obviously, Brian Lochore. He definitely deserves a shout out as well. 14 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw, so 18 matches in total. But, you know, obviously with him, it's more the reviving of the rugby. But with Graham Henry in the professional era, to just be as dominant as he was, you know, when other teams were having good times as well. I mean, South Africa were very strong around about this time, and they would always beat South Africa pretty much consistently. England were stronger than they've ever been at the start of his career, and he ended up kind of working through them as well. Prop deserves really a lot of accolades. You got Carl Heyman, who was brilliant. If he just stayed over in New Zealand, I guess, instead of going to France, he would have been probably in the starting lineup, to be honest, if he just stayed, because he was pretty much the world's best prop at that time. You got Brian Lochore, who we just pretty much named as well as one of the best coaches. He was, you know, one of the best second rowers / number 8s ever as well. Jerome Kaino, sorry the picture's not showing, but yeah, Jerome Kaino, just for how long he did it, from 2006 to 2017, he just absolutely brilliant. Solidified that number 6 spot for the All Blacks. You got Justin Marshall from 1996 to 2005. He could just control a game. He could swap it on his head. He was a brilliant ball running number 9 as well, and he wasn't very small, so he could take the physicality. You had Brian Williams, the winger, who could goal kick from 1970 to 78. You got Grant Fox from 84 to 93. Won the World Cup in 1987. Man, his goal kicking, he was the first one to ever actually put the ball on a bit of an angle. Now everyone pretty much does it, so he was one of the first to do that, and one of the best goal kickers in history. I got Walter Little, who was, I guess, an all-time favorite growing up, you know, playing the games like Jonah Loma Rugby, all that type of stuff. Absolute legend. Doug Howlett, I mean, he just his finishing ability and how fast he was, his scoring ability, you know, I think he scored like nearly 50 tries in just 60 matches or something like that, so nearly won a game. You got Sir Ian, Ian Jones, who had 10 years in the All Black jersey, absolutely brilliant. Kieran Reid, another great server of the game, 3 World Cups for the All Blacks, winning 2 of them. And then you got the winger, who I think is just one of the best finishers in history. You know, Joe Roccococo, whatever you want to say, deserves to be shouted out as well. And Sitiveni Sivivatu, I think if he got more time in the jersey, he'd be much higher up on the list, to be honest. He just didn't get too many years, right? Only 6 years in the jersey, but just absolutely deadly. I remember at the Chiefs, just absolutely killed it. And then I think he went to France, so cut his kind of All Black career short. But yeah, just wanted to say a special mention as well. I mean, let me know if you agree, disagree, who you would change in this team. Let me know below in the comments. Like the video if you did like it as well. I mean, it does take a few hours to make these sorts of videos, so if you do support this sort of content, if you want to see more content like this, then please hit that subscribe button. It just means that people are enjoying the video, and it gives me time to kind of do more and more videos like this and do that research so we can see who we believe is the best team in history. And I guess once we do pretty much all the main nations, the best players from every main country, best 15 ever, we can try and maybe do a world best, you know, in history after doing more and more research. And we'll see whose feathers we ruffle in that one, because probably be someone from the Northern Hemisphere. But I'll end it on that. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe. It means a lot. Just hit that button below the video. It means a lot. And I'll see you on the next one. Thank you for watching.
Zinzan, Marshall, Cullen,